Oh, I wanted to say something before recording began.
Okay, hold on.
Well,
Let me pause it. Oh, good evening to all. This is Today's date is February 15th, 2025. My name is Tammy Gomez, and once again, here on the third Sunday of the month, I'm here with great poet friends. We're sharing work and words together in this monthly gathering that's called Recordando, the poetry series. And so we're going to share some work. Richard, I'd love for you to go first if that's okay, because it sounds like your poem that you pulled up might be right on right on with
it
the
it's just
theme.
silly. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It
Recordando el breaking news.
it's
What
called
kind of
breaking
news
news.
is breaking and what can we make of that? Can we break apart or put
Let me just
together?
preface
Go,
this
take it
by
away,
saying,
Richard.
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, Without going, it privilege has been to
Now I can't hear you.
no, I'm here. Is this going to be for me? I'm talking. Can you hear me?
You're Tammy, you muted yourself.
Indeed, I did. Would you mind maybe turning off your camera while you read your poem, Richard?
Let me try that. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
wonderfully. So,
Okay.
yes.
I'm working I'm working it off of my phone in like because this hotel is so bad, but it's also in the middle of nowhere, as we like to say. So there's not even cell phone reception. But I have a piece called Breaking News. I'll start with it, but I promise you, you weren't thinking of anything like this when you made the theme. Okay? Breaking news. I've decided to become a superhero. I've got it all worked out. First, the name, which is the easiest part. Grouchy old fuck. It works, doesn't it? As in, oh, fuck, it's grouchy old fuck. Oh, yeah. Plus, it cleverly contains my main strength and weakness. My strength is grouchiness. Of course, I will grouch any villain that annoys me right into the ground. My weakness, of course, is the oldness thing. Some days I ache all over. Some days I'm slow as hell. Some I can't remember much, including the fact that I'm a superhero, but they don't deter me from my appointed grouchiness. Instead, they make it all the more fierce. I have a bunch of other powers as well. There's my critical eye lasers, my disapproval vibes, my anti injustice earth shaking stomp, the old reliable get out of my face bellow, and of course, the toxic farts. I am powerful. And what does the fuck refer to, you might ask? It's purely denominational. I'm also working on a costume, definitely bright orange and red, because those colors tend to aggravate me, with a big yellow F on the chest. No cape for this fuck, though. They're just so not whole. I'm thinking more of an ascot. Soon I'll be all charged up and ready to rock. So, all you sociopaths out there messing with people's lives, I suggest you keep a low profile and manage your fucking damage. Bigots, watch those mouths. Abusers, don't raise a tendon. And ageists, oh, you sweethearts, whether you know you're one or not, and if you're not sure, you probably are, while you stumble about aging slowly and hate every minute of it, I'm taking that out on those of us who've managed to survive a stretch more, and taking that out on those of us who've managed to survive a stretch more. Know this: I've got my lasers trained on you. Anyway, silly, but I think to be for a moment, if at moments, don't you think? Can you hear me still?
Yes, I can hear you still and still.
Let me go. Just let me know if I disappear vocally, and I'll turn off my camera. Anyway, I am tired. It was really only about 5 hours of driving.
Oh,
Um,
that's a long
to
driving
get
day to me.
a little bit, yeah, and it was real pretty going down the Central Valley of California after it's rained much so far this year because, I mean, it's early in the season. I mean, it's winter, but, the fruit trees are out and you can tell they're digging the rain, and um, the hills on either side of the valley, which are sort of small mountains, are mostly green, like a light, different shades of light green, and you can feel things coming up through the ground. And since I'm going to be in LA for a week, I think the one thing I'd like to do, and I hope this doesn't sound prurient, so tell me if you think it does, but I think I'd like to be able to go maybe to, if you can, to the edge of one of where the fires were. I'd like to see if there's anything sprouting, because it's been a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And just the idea that things will sprout through the char, which, and burnt wood and so forth is very good for plants.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. I want to see if there's any life coming through yet, Anyway.
I'm vaguely recalling something I read about 2 weeks ago about people going out and seeding some areas with seeds of like drought tolerant plants, things like that.
Mm-hmm. I think they were doing that too to curb erosion.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, they tore down some dams of a river, and the indigenous peoples were seeding with original heirloom seeds of things that used to grow there before the dam messed everything up.
Hmm.
That was out somewhere in California.
I'm not sure where.
What are the colors you hate, Richard? Did you say red and orange? What were those colors?
Well, yeah, it was. I think I said they tend to aggravate me. But the truth is, I don't tend to keep a lot of warm colors around. Right now I'm wearing a yellow shirt, which is a little bit unusual, except that this is a really old shirt that is so damn comfortable, and I'm in a hotel room. Yeah. Oh, I have to show you my favorite accessory. Nobody has noticed these yet. So I appear to be wearing like long sleeve, like, right, which are so comfortable, but I'm actually only wearing sleeves.
Huh.
And I discovered these are, what do they call, compression sleeves?
Yeah, stockings or sleeves.
Which I had to wear a couple of times. It's compression sleeves, but not like if you for your arms, they're going to be tight and uncomfortable and ultimately not good for you. But these are actually for your thighs. They're meant to be on this huge part of your body, and I found they fit like really comfortably up my arms. And whenever I'm chilly, I just actually put my sleeves on instead of like an extra shirt. Like they put them. Nobody so far has noticed that I'm wearing unattached sleeves.
Well, I couldn't see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But even I'm waiting for somebody to go, what the fuck are you wearing? Clearly I'm proud.
Who would like to read next?
Well, I won't read
or share next.
Yeah, I won't read this whole thing that I wrote. Because I've been thinking a lot about the fact that I just turned 75 today. Uh, and I love your facial expressions, Richard.
We're in shock.
And it got me thinking, 3/4 of a century. And so I started out, I'll read the beginning part. It said, it's entitled, My First 75 Years. First starts, what kind of ancestor do you want to be? Some cultures tell a story about how we come to be born in a particular body in a particular place and at a particular time. We are part of our ancestors' dream, their dream for life on earth. We are dreamed into being. As part of our ancestors' lucid dream, we actually have a choice, and we choose to be embodied, to be incarnated in order to fulfill a particular, peculiar purpose that only we can fulfill. If we choose to enter the world, then perhaps we choose your parents. Part of their purpose might have been to bring me into the world. And my father, conveniently enough, was born in 1925, which is 100 years ago. Think about that for a minute. 100 years. And my mother was born a few years later. And the old curse is, may you live in interesting times. So we choose, as they say, to live in interesting times for a purpose, on purpose. So here I am at 75 years, 3/4 of a century, and I wonder about my purpose and what kind of ancestor I will be. I could go on here, but I think do you want me to go on? So, now, for the adults in the community I chose to be born into 25 years after 1925, which was 1950, they had an interesting time. After the great crash of 1929 and the ensuing Great Depression, Roosevelt in the 1930s offered a New Deal for the American people, and that New Deal meant that the government would no longer work simply to promote business, but would also regulate business, provide a basic social safety net, and promote infrastructure. Then World War II happened, and my parents fought against Hitler's Nazism, Mussolini's fascism, and Japan's imperial expansionism. And my parents' generation responded and were proud to have defeated forever fascism. And then I was born in 1950. What might have been the purpose for which I chose to be born in that interesting time? Eisenhower's warning to beware of the military-industrial complex in 1961 yet we nevertheless found ourselves in a Cold War against communism with the threat of nuclear destruction of all life on Earth hanging over everyone. But all was not bleak for the American community I chose to enter in 1950. The New Deal had brought a social safety net, and we were entering a time of prosperity when many families were able to own a home and raise children on a single worker's wage. Of course, not everyone shared in this prosperity. So, what was my purpose in 1950? In Hinduism, brahmacharya is the first stage of life. It is the student stage, preparing for success in later stages of life. In my student stage, I came to see my immediate purpose was to grow in my ability to help those who had been left out of the prosperity. The next 25 years from 1950 would see the rise of the civil rights movement, the feminist movement, the anti-nuke movement, the earth conservation movement, and a new anti-war movement. I was 25 years old in 1975. Many things had changed in those 25 years. I had been shocked by the assassination of JFK, and then Martin Luther King Jr., and then Bobby Kennedy, and then the early death of my own father. The Vietnam War was when I became an activist, although I attended college on a Naval ROTC scholarship. I participated in the anti-war protests. By 1975, when I was 25, the war was over. I was left with an awareness of the dangers of the military-industrial complex and the rapacious extractive capitalism and consumerism of the time. The environmental movement had made progress with the Clean Air Act, Endangered Species Act, and the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency. I grew up camping and hiking and loved spending time in nature, so protection of the environment became part of my purpose. And there was also a sexual revolution going on. Coming of age, the pill, and before the advent of AIDS and other more dangerous sexually transmitted diseases, I fully enjoyed the youth culture of drugs, sex, and rock and roll. And on a more serious side, I supported the women who were demanding changes in our patriarchal systemic structures. At 25, I was filled with optimism that we were making progress addressing the evils of the world and that things would be getting progressively better. So what was my purpose in 1975? In Hinduism, the second stage of life is called grihastha, known as the householder stage. It follows what most people do naturally after leaving school, maintaining a home, developing a career, having a family. Many people, as my father had, entered the stage by age 25, but I wasn't finished with my student stage yet. It took me another decade because I was fortunate enough to get paid to go to master's program and PhD, and before I entered my householder stage. I was 50 years old in the year 2000. I'd finally reached the householder stage. I was married, father of a 14-year-old daughter, passed through a number of vocational changes, community organizer, college professor, ordained minister, vocational rehab counselor, community transportation planner, etc. Once the world had changed in unexpected ways, in my youthful enthusiasm, I had not foreseen the reactionary backlash of the Reagan years. There was a new computerized technological revolution underway. A mass shooting at Columbine High School would become just the first of many. And we would soon go through the disruption of 9/11 and the start of a never-ending war on terror. the fighting of which seemed self-perpetuating and eternal. So what was my purpose in 2000? I continued to find fulfillment in family and community service through my vocation. So I thought I had my purpose there. But then my daughter went away to college and into her own purposeful pursuits. And with the earth-changing impacts of COVID, I went into semi-retirement and then full retirement. Vanaprashta is the third stage of life in Hinduism. It begins after individuals fulfill their obligations in their families, and it's known as the forest dweller stage. In ancient times, once they reached this stage, people would start detaching themselves from family life and the pursuit of material ends by moving to the forest to devote their time to spiritual practice, living among other seekers of solace, knowledge, peace, and freedom. Today, most people have stopped returning to the forest, instead choosing to spend more time giving back to their communities as they deepen their spiritual practices. The goal is to devote oneself to spiritual practice with a commitment to serve and in pursuit of liberation. It is 2025, and I am today 75 years old. The world we're now embodied in, this incarnation of our reincarnation, is one where fascism is once again riding rampant, where the struggles against white body supremacy, against male cisgender heteronormativity, against the extractive destruction of our earth for the profit of a few, seem to have the upper hand. Across many indigenous cultures, there are different terms for the same cannibalistic mind virus humans become vulnerable to when we start to see ourselves as separate from and superior to the rest of life on Earth and from each other. The Ojibwa called it Watiko, others Wendigo. When people are overtaken by this mind virus, they become possessed by a need for endless consumption, even at the expense of ourselves and all of life on Earth. Sound familiar? The fourth stage of life is sannyasa, renunciation. Hindus who have lived a traditional life enter into a period of renunciation following stages 2 and 3. In both cases, in their own way, having fulfilled all prior obligations, the person is free to devote themselves entirely to spiritual growth. A sannyasin lives a very simple life, subsisting on a minimum of material possessions and devoting themselves to nonviolence. The goal is to attain liberation from the cycle of birth and rebirth. So, what is my purpose in 2025? After 75 years, I'm not ready to leave yet. I'm still studying for my final exams. I came into this world to discover or rediscover my purpose. At each point, I thought I was closer to knowing, but as the world kept changing, perhaps my purpose changed with it. Or maybe it is the journey in search of my purpose that is the purpose of it all. Or maybe each time I thought I was fulfilling my purpose, I was only preparing for my purpose in this present moment. I think I'm clear at this moment. My purpose is to resist and persist. End of thought.
I'll drink to that.
That was awesome.
Many happy returns. And I bet you thought all of that in just a few seconds, but you expanded it out like the accordion folds, and it took however many minutes it took to share. Thank you. Thank you for reading all of that.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was too
So
much.
what forest are you thinking about?
Sorry?
What forest are you thinking about?
I haven't discovered it yet. I've been to lots of wonderful forests, but I'm actually planning on a trip to Chicago, which isn't a forest. At least not that I know.
Depends on your, it depends on your definition. I'd give it anything to live in a forest. Just so tired of urban.
I watched Dinner with Andre this week.
Ah.
Oh,
And
did you
they
see
talk
the
about
post I
forests.
made or
They talk
something?
about forests a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Thank you for the link. Yes, I've
Mhm.
been sharing the link. Thank you. You made that possible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I just saw somebody posted like a scene from it, and I was like, oh, fuck. Good time for this.
It was my
You
first
know?
time to see it. I'd never seen it
Okay.
before.
Oh, my goodness. You are so blessed.
I haven't
'Cause
seen
it's
it yet,
something,
so
right?
I will. I will watch it.
You haven't seen it either? Oh my
It's
God.
something.
Yeah.
You could get free. You know, you think, oh, these two guys are going to talk, okay, and then all of a sudden it's an hour and a half later, and your life has changed. At least that is for me. There's certain films that have done. Don't you agree? There's certain films where you're like, I don't know what this is, and you turn it on, and then it's over, and you're like, oh my God, I'm a totally different creature now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's
I
see.
did want to say to you,
Mhm.
Richard,
Mhm.
keep doing your podcasts. After your
Have you been
12
listening?
months are over, I want to continue
Oh,
to listen to you. They're wonderful.
thank you. I was pretty sure that people were getting tired of me, but there's not that many. You know, I can see stats approximate, and so the interviews got many, many, many dozens and dozens and dozens of listens from around the world. By the way, I mean, I don't know the numbers, but before that, most of them got around maybe 30 or 40 over a few months. The new ones have like 15, but I like doing them. I mean, I feel like it's instructive for me.
Yeah,
Did you hear the new one that I posted today?
I didn't listen to today's. I've been busy, but I
It's
plan on doing it
brand new.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's kind of you to say. I often wonder, if it's having any effect. And but when you do, you will see the one section, and I kind of explain it, but because I'm worried about people who are frightened right now, and I you can't really say to people like that, have joy, you just can't. So, but I ended up talking, just in some level of detail, my own reality, which I normally don't do in public or even to that many people. But then I ended up talking about my lovers who have died, which is what Tammy referring to. And the most difficult description that I wrote was the person that she knew who was a poet.
Uh-huh.
So, but and then I talk about violence has happened to me, which is I'm not sure what I was trying to do, but it's sort of like lay myself bare and say, let's all be human together, right now. I
Right.
don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm tired.
Are
It's
you?
nice of you to say. I mean, I am planning to end it on May 31st. there are 8 left, and I know the name of and the subject matter for the last one. You know, I don't know really. I think the next one, because this whole last chapter, the final 9 or 10 are sort of about looking forward, and so I want to write out. I wrote one called Tree, but I think I want to write about, how vegetation comes up through ruin, you know,
Would you mind giving
and
the title of your podcast again for those who might be watching this later?
oh
Don't have
yeah,
the reference.
it's
Thank you.
easy to find if you type in. It's called My 12-Month Video Fast, which started because I decided to like pack up my media center and ban television and gaming from my apartment for a year, presumably. And I just thought I'd write about what I went through, but really has led a lot of places, anyway.
Oh my gosh, I
I
can't
So,
believe
shared.
this
I mean,
coming
William,
May is going to make a year. It seems like it's just sped by. I mean, it seems that I've only known, I mean, I've known that you started the podcast when you started the podcast, but it's only felt like 4 months. And what happens when we do these year-long projects, like I did my 365 poems in 365 days project, you get a greater sense of what 365 days is like, the speed of life, basically. And yeah,
right.
why wouldn't you want to
It's counting down.
give up something so that you can know what the rest of your life can be about, aside
Right.
from screens and TV and streaming. And you've done just
I
that
have
and
to be
show
honest. I think of it as a discrete thing. Yeah.
as a what?
But I have to be honest. I do have always thought of it as a discrete, 12 months for the podcast as well. That's the name of it. And then the last day of that year, May 31st, it's a Saturday. So that's supposed to be literally exactly 12 months. It's supposed to complete. As for that, I don't know. I do know that I need a break because I spend a lot of time on it, at a ridiculous amount sometimes. And I really liked doing the interview. They were very, very challenging, very hard, and I don't know how well I actually did them, but it has occurred to me. But this is me talking. It's occurred to me to have conversation to do that sort of thing once a month, but there might be tons of like artists,
Yeah.
podcasts, so that
I,
might not really.
yeah,
I don't
I
know.
recommended those. I sent links to those to all of my friends, and I'm sure
Thank
some
you.
of them listened to them. And
A lot of people listen. Yeah.
and I think I mean I'd be willing to pay to hear more. So
I like the idea
that's
of
one
doing the
person.
artist thing. Thank you. I like the idea of doing the artist talks or talking with artists, like the title "How to Survive in America." I think that kind of beams in. It was interesting to me how I had a series of Tammy. I'll remember this. Have a series of questions that I sort of follow through each person, but actually talking about whatever they needed to talk about, and each one found its own organic form. So I was thinking when you were reading of something Tammy said in hers. Are you there, Tammy? You just have your. I can't. I
I'm
don't know
here.
if
Yeah,
she's
I'm listening.
there.
Yes, I'm here.
But yeah. Oh, okay. One thing that Tammy said in hers, which reflected, or you were talking about, yourself as an ancestor, and one of the things she said is talked about herself becoming or wanting to become a good ancestor, and um, and I think of, well, I don't know if I think of that as much, being not a progenitor, but I am a progenitor of podcasts and poems, and and now a movie,
You don't have to
so
be a bio parent to be an
I don't know. I do
ancestor.
know.
You don't have to be a bio parent
Right.
to be an
I
ancestor.
know.
Your proteges, the people who read your
I agree.
poems, they you will be their ancestor. if you leave before
Mhm.
then.
I'm currently doing an ancestral healing workshop where I journey back through each of my bloodlines, 4 bloodlines, to encounter emissaries from that line to establish a relationship and then find what needs healing within that line. And it may be
That's a lot.
5 generations back on my father's mother's line that there needs to be a healing, but then all of the relations that came out of that includes me, but it keeps getting bigger. Think about how many people are affected by that. So
Right.
you have the power to affect lots of other people through that kind of ancestral work. Anyway.
No, I understand. So I'm going to type something into the chat. I wrote a blurb for someone. The book is not out yet, but it's about to come out. Oh, fuck, I'm typing. Sorry, I have I have my tablet open and this, and I keep trying to type on the tablet keyboard. Yes. So I wrote a blurb for someone who I know just a bit, who I met through poetry stuff, but she's not a poet per se. She will write poetry sometimes. She's originally she studied acting and a lifelong concert, whatever. And she has a book coming out that is poetry with illustrations, and it's bizarre, and it's interesting. Two different kinds of work. Um, I just want to type this in by Milo. And the book is called Miss Experience White, and it's by Milo Starr Johnson. I just put and it. I don't.
It might be time to turn
didn't manage.
it might be time to turn the video camera off again, Richard, for a minute. Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so what I wanted to say, I'm sorry if that was halting, a little weird. So there's a few different kinds of writing in that, but and some of it was I wasn't sure what to make of it. I mean, I thought it was it was cartoonish, where she was portraying like the same as dinosaurs, cartoon-like dinosaurs that just destroy things and kill people. And well, then there's this whole completely center part of this book, and it's really big. She researched exactly what you're talking about, Jeffrey. She researched. That's why I brought it up. She researched her bloodlines, and her family was pretty much all European. Went back before the revolution, and and there were all not and then different waves of immigrants and so forth. But she wanted to explore her whiteness,
Mhm.
and and what that means, and she's very concerned about what premise, white power structure and all that kind of stuff. But it's really a history of her family, and it's not in chronological order. It kind of starts that way, but then it jumps all over again and again. It's all these characters, some of whom behave quite badly, and some of whom behave quite beautifully.
Are you editing
And that was
this?
to me was like, I just did a blurb for it. I
Oh,
was going to
blurb.
help her do a release party. Got delayed because it's all color illustrations and sort of looks sort of like a comic book in ways. But and I like I say I thought it was strange because it starts out with one kind of writing, and in the middle is this totally different thing that moved the hell out of me. The cartoonish part didn't do much for me. I know Trump's a dinosaur. He's a lizard. It's very clear, lizard brain. But the stuff, his history, family, it's just stunning. Anyway, that's all. I've been drinking Coca-Cola. That's all.
There's a poem I'd like to read next, and it's many years old, and it's titled Encendida, which means well, to me it means it's a Spanish word, one who is on fire, or she who is on fire. And it's written in the voice of an 11-year-old girl on the Texas side of the Tex-Mex border. And that 11-year-old girl may or may not have been me. Encendida. I feel like an investigator sometimes, though I'm young and get my knowledge from books. But sometimes when I look at people staring in the stores and when they look back at me on the street, I feel I know who they are. Maybe it's because I want to be a writer and I can imagine people's lives, making up things about them that fill in the blanks and empty spaces. Well, this one girl, I felt that I knew who she was. She lived down the street, and my mama talked with her mama, and that's how I know she was 12 years old. Same as my age, kind of. It was hard to tell this, though, because of how she dressed, all day with pantyhose and heels, short dresses every day. And we only lived on a simple street, no tiendas or places to walk. So why she wore those flashy clothes was a mystery to me. Mama sent me over there, said, make friends with her now. She is probably bored, and you can work on your Spanish, too. I didn't agree. I didn't see that we had much in common. Just by looking at her way of holding herself, spreading her legs along the sidewalk, boldly facing the street. Not even the shade of a tree or the blush of a child. She looked to me like she was on fire, encendida, hot for trouble or something too grown up for me. So when I finally did walk over to join her and tried to make it fun, I was in tennis shoes and terry cloth shorts like I wore for playing kickball in the street or washing the car in the driveway. She was really on fire that day, with her skin-tight skirt and big heel shoes, looking up at every car that drove by. I could not hold her attention, for she had to smile if it was a man behind the wheel. Mama, don't make me go back there again, I told her after I got home. She is too much into boys, and all she does is sit and play with her hair. How would you, how could you think I would make friends with her? Yes, you're right, honey. I guess you tried your best. But that girl has grown up fast, too fast, in Mexico. I heard she was a wild girl, a prostitute. Too bad she couldn't stay in school. I was shocked that my mother wanted me to be friends with a prostitute just because she was 12, like me, but really not like me. I couldn't believe that a prostitute lived on my street, all hot and encendida.
Wow.
I only write poems about things that happen to me mostly because I'm out there in the world and I get exposed to many things, and that's my breaking news.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Ensenita, is that the name of a tree or am I misremembering? No,
Encendida,
what's the name of it?
Sanita is something else. I think the no.
Yeah.
Let me think. The word for ashes. The word for ashes is something like that. Boy, I'm embarrassing myself.
And so, yeah.
Well, I understand. And Ensenita is related to incendiary, and
Cenizas.
that I totally pick up fire in it. It's some kind of a there's just some kind of a tree or bush that grows by the ocean that um uh, sorry,
Thank you
yeah,
for hearing
that
that
makes
piece.
sense.
That's a really old
Mhm.
one, and it's part of a cycle of poems I wrote
Oh, it's
about Tex-Mex life.
about mestiza,
Mhm.
mestiza and cenita. I know my Mexican Spanish sounds like I have a Chinese accent. I can't That's what, my friends always used to tell me. Why do you speak Spanish with the Chinese accent? And I'm like, what the fuck are you about? But
Why do you speak Spanish with the Chinese accent? I love it.
I don't
Well, I was a Tex-Mexican in Mexico
know.
with a German accent because I was living in a like a in a palapa, which is like a thatch roof hut with these German people who were also tourists, and I ended up getting a German accent. I think I think we're
My
gonna
daughter
close it
went
down
to
here.
Barcelona.
So, Tammy,
We'll just close this down in a few minutes. Go ahead, Jeffrey. Go ahead.
but did I?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say my daughter took Spanish at UT and then went to Barcelona for 9 months, and she came back with a Barcelona lisp for her Spanish, but she's fluent in Spanish, but she speaks with this lisp that everybody in Barcelona apparently has. So it's very recognizable. She's somebody who always picked up accents. In preschool, one of the teachers in her Montessori preschool was from South Africa. And and then we have this good friend who's from New Zealand. And then we had this other friend from Nottingham in England. And she was able to imitate their accents and with the differences between their accents perfectly.
Yeah.
And so when she went to Barcelona, she picked up the Barcelona accent.
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
The Chinese accent. Yeah. I can't remember if I told you guys why I'm going to LA this weekend.
I know you're doing a reading.
Why?
But yeah. But also you have a film. You helped work on a film that's screening tomorrow in LA.
Yeah.
I just read the post. There's a post I read, and you helped this person with dialogue, writing dialogue.
Right. It was like 20 years ago, and the film got made, and now he spent a couple of years making it. I mean, it got made, back like 2008, and it was on Netflix a little bit, I guess, and I don't think it did anything in film festivals, but he did an HD version at home. It took him 2 years, and re-edited it and threw it out to some film festivals, and it got picked up almost immediately by this one, which is in LA. So
what's
I
it
got
about?
to see the movie. It's very hard to watch. It's about military interrogations. It's an Abu Ghraib type of story.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's super intense. It stars Michelle Nichols, who was you guys Lieutenant Uhura in Star Trek.
Oh,
yeah.
The older black actress.
Mm-hmm.
And then a younger actor. I mean, this was made 14 years ago, but now it's HD'd up and re-edited, and the sound is all up to spec. And so it's in a festival. I get to watch a movie I helped to write on the screen. I didn't actually write the plot. I come in working with Graham since 6 months on a new screenplay, because somehow he manages to talk me into this, because he comes up with good stories and terrible, terrible dialogue. So I come in and say, let me tell you how people talk to each other. So that's what happened with this one. And now today he tells me, I hope you're ready for the Q&A. And I'm like, I don't even fucking remember what I did.
Oh, wow. Well, that's breaking news right there.
I know. Like, what? But that's so many people want to ask questions, and I don't even know how many people will be there. But there is posters up and around with Nichelle Nichols. People do know, especially in LA. Yeah, I mean, she passed away in just a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of a film that no one has seen that she made.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
It's stressful. It shows, somebody torturing, someone, and I don't know. It's a tough watch, but it's also not one it's not like completely bleak. I don't know how else to say that without telling you what really happens in it, but um, it has a couple of twists, if you want to call them that. It's fairly realistic, but then it also it has a relatively positive message ultimately, even
All
though
right.
it's kind of, yeah. So anyway, that's all. But tomorrow, and it's showing at Grauman's Chinese Theater where they have all the like
What?
stars handprints
Oh,
and stuff.
wow.
Yeah,
That's special.
All right.
it's kind of Graham says it's a hokey little film festival. I'm like, I don't care. I'm bringing a bucket of cement.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for all of
Anyway.
your birthday wishes, and
Oh yeah.
have a wonderful. I'm gonna try to celebrate for at least this next. Well, you said 3 months, right? Isn't that how long?
Okay, before you go,
Mhm.
I am putting in a link for let's see, a live action short film. And I saw this film, I'm Not a Robot, because it was something the New Yorker, they have a series for like short films, and so I watched that, and the link is still live, but it may go away at some point because this film is now nominated for an Academy Award. Totally took the filmmakers by surprise. But it got a ton of views. It's very eerie and excellent. Very eerie and excellent. It's well done. It's like 22 minutes. Highly recommend you see it and tell me what you think.
I'll have
Anyway,
to get that from you. Yeah, I'll have
what's
to get
that?
that from you. This connection is not letting the chat now,
Oh yeah,
so
yeah. I'll save
I'll
that
have
for y'all.
to get that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah, please.
we'll have better connections online next month, I hope, if the internet doesn't fall apart by then. And I thank you for your time and for making a space here with me for Recordando, the February 2025 edition. I'm going to stop recording now, and for those of you who want to stick around, we'll chat a little bit. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.